Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. Welcome to the Daily Cricket Happening show. And on this particular show, I'm going to have a look at three matches that happened. One is right now underway as far as the day three is concerned between New Zealand and South Africa. And I can give you a live cricket update right now. As you know, South Africa bowled out for 308 yesterday, and New Zealand currently are placed at 265 for 5 year in session 2 right now, and the captain Williamson is going absolutely strong for the team, and on him would rest the chances for New Zealand to take a good lead in this particular test match over South Africa. He's not out on 121. 121. He has got 16 boundaries in that, and he's looking pretty good right now. So that is something that we will look at later. But definitely, as far as day 2 was concerned, at the day 3 was concerned, in the match between Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, stumps on day 3 due to rain constantly interrupting proceedings. It was Bangladesh who were all out for 312. But the good thing that Bangladesh did here was to avoid the follow-on, thanks to their captain Mushfiqur Rahim, who stayed at the center for quite a long time to see to it that Bangladesh did not miss on the opportunity of saving the follow-on, which they did. But they conceded a very big lead to the Sri Lankans of 182 runs. 2 days to go. The forecast is not so good, I'm afraid to say. There is forecast for thunderstorms as well, so one has to see what happens. But Bangladesh definitely, I thought, did a good job not to at least pass the follow-on mark, as they were all out for 312. And as I said, the West Indies-England match was very important for the West Indies, but again, the West Indies were no match for England today at the Kensington Oval, Bridgetown, Barbados, where England completed their assignment of a short tour of the West Indies by thrashing the West Indies 3-0 in this ODI series. And especially today, they were lit up by two fine centuries. One coming from Hales, who hit his 5th century, ODI century, and what a way for Hales to actually mark his comeback to the England team after that hand injury which kept him out of the most of the matches against India. And then he comes here, he could not get a chance, and finally gets a chance here, and he really made it count with a beautiful innings of 110. He combined in a very good 192 runs partnership with Joe Root. Joe Root also making a century, making 101, probably his 9th century, I suppose. But England raised a score of 328, and West Indies, I had to say, they kept on losing wickets in spurts to be all out for 142. But it's not about the 3-0 victory that England got, but West Indies, as you know, would have been aiming for they definitely are aiming at the automatic qualification for the World Cup, which is the first 8 ICC ODI nations, and they have definitely done themselves a bit of harm here by actually losing this match to the Englishmen. Well, we'll come back to that later. But I'm going to start off right now with the match between Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. So Bangladesh resuming their overnight score. They had Soumya Sarkar, who had played a good hand yesterday of 66 runs, and the captain Mushfiqur Rahim was along with him. Both went on, but could not really, they in fact lost an early wicket. Soumya Sarkar was the first victim, as he was caught by Lahiru Kumara with the bowling of Lucknow for 71 with 8 fours and 1 6, so he could not carry on the innings further. Shakib Al Hasan joined Mushfiqur Rahim. Rahim was really playing in a very nice manner. He knew that he had a big responsibility. Shakib Al Hasan contributed 23 before becoming a victim of the bowling of the wrist spinner Lakshan Sandakan, when he was caught behind by Dickwala behind the stumps for 23 with 1 4 and 1 6. And then we suddenly saw, after the dismissal of Shakib Al Hasan, that the Bangladesh lost 2 more wickets very quickly, with Lahiru Kumara clean bowling Mahmudullah for 8 with 1 boundary, and Litton Das was taken care of by Rangana Herath, caught by Gunaratne for 5, which made it 192 for 6. and at 192 for 6, Bangladesh were in some sort of trouble, so sure. But it was Mushfiqur Rahim who was actually doing a good job of holding the innings together for Bangladesh. But Mehdi Hassan Miraz, as you know, he has already proved that he could be, he has all the makings of an all-rounder with his very, very steady defense and the way he actually blocks the deliveries. He did it against India as well, as you would remember in that test match by scoring his maiden 50, if I'm not wrong. And today he was there to give company to his captain Mushfiqur Rahim, as this was from 192 for 6. It could have gone anywhere, but what a partnership. I mean, this was the partnership which actually saved Bangladesh from the follow-on, as Mehdi Hassan Miraz played a good hand here of giving very good company to the Bangladeshi captain, and in that partnership which really did it for Bangladesh, as Bangladesh passed the follow-on mark of 294 with Mehdi Hassan Miraz at the crease. But once they had passed the follow-on target and the score had reached 298, Mehdi Hassan Miraz also played some nice strokes, one could say. Mushfiqur Rahim, well, he was, as you know, Mushfiqur Rahim is such a player who really likes to play strokes, and he also hit a very good 6 as well, and he was looking a picture of confidence. But then after this stand was broken by Dilruwan Pereira, as he actually had Mehdi Hassan Miraz LBW for 41 with 5 boundaries, and then he also went on to get Taskin Ahmed LBW for naught. After that, when the score reached 308, Mushfiqur Rahim would have, in the company of tail-enders, would have probably thought that he was the one who had to take up the real mantle. But unfortunately for him, Ragana Hayrat, his opposite number, clean bowled him for a well-made 85 with 8 fours and 1 6. He truly deserved a century there. Subhash Isra was not out on naught. Mustafizur Rahman was out to the bowling of Herat for 4, and the Bangladeshi innings totally came to an end at 312. And as I said, the picture at the Gaul cricket ground was not so good, with rain coming in buckets. And as far as the bowling was concerned, Lakmal bowled a good line, 1 for 42. Laira Kumara also struck a good line, 1 for 70. But Dilruwan Pereira and Herat were the ones who actually shared the wickets. 19 overs, 4 maidens, 53 runs and 3 wickets for the Offie Dilruwan Pereira, and Ragana Hayrat, the wily veteran campaigner and also the captain now, 26.2 overs, 4 maidens, 72 runs and 3 wickets, and Sandakan 22-5, 69 and 1 wicket. So Bangladesh definitely getting out of, I would say at least they saved the follow-on, so that is the first good thing that they have done. They made sure that Sri Lanka will bat again, so which was good. But it's a good lead, and as I said, there is the forecast is not good as far as the 4th and 5th day is concerned, and Bangladesh will be hoping that some rain falls here, so that and probably it could so happen that Sri Lanka might score some quick runs in the time possible and probably put a target against the Bangladesh, and this Gaul test might really end up in some result. You never know. So that is as far as Bangladesh versus Sri Lanka is concerned. Now let's get on to the in the meanwhile, let me give you the cricket update. So as far as the cricket update is concerned, Kane Williamson is still going strong. In fact, while I'm talking to you, he has just stroked the Philander for a boundary, and he has taken his score on to 126, his 17th boundary here. And it was the absolutely Williamson special when he actually hit the ball dead straight. He just straight drove Philander down the ground for a magnificent boundary. And New Zealand right now are just trailing by 36 runs to take the lead in the first innings. We'll come back to that later, and I will also keep an eye if at all any wickets fall. I'll come back to this. So let's leave from here and head towards the Kensington Oval, Bridgetown in Barbados, where, as I said, was a very important match for the home team, the West Indies, especially considering that they were aiming at the automatic World Cup qualification, which is something in their eyes now, no doubt about it. But let me tell you, it all happened with the England actually batting first, and it was not a pitch which was easy to bat on. It had a sort of it was a bit two-paced, one could say. And England started off, and England were kept quiet by the bowlers. Jason Holder, yes, definitely they were missing Shannon Gabriel, no doubt about it. Alzari Joseph, the youngster, was given an opportunity, and he and Holder were doing a very good job, I thought, by not allowing Jason Roy and Hales to score. Jason Roy and Hales were not really able to score in that same free manner, and also Alex Hales actually coming on to the England team was a breath of fresh air as well, because Alex Hales, as you know, with the hand injury, he did not play in much of the matches in India, and then finally Alex Hales made his entry, and the first wicket was taken. As I said, was some good bowling from Joseph and Holder, which tightened the strings on England in the opening burst, and then finally it was Alzari Joseph, the tall bowler, young, tall, fast bowler, actually claiming the wicket of Jason Roy. Jason Roy tried to actually flick a delivery, and Jason Holder picked up the catch. So he was gone. Caught hold of Bowler Joseph for 17 with 2 of 90 deliveries with 2 fours, which made the score 27 for 1. And we were in the 6th over. Alex Hales was there in the centre as Joe Root joined him. And after that, it was that was the only solace that England, West Indies got, I would say, after picking up the early wicket. But after that, it was Alex Hales along with Joe Root really building up a wonderful partnership, as the partnership really started growing, with Alex Hales starting to get into his stride and showing what a nice stroke maker he is. And Joe Root, on the other hand, as you know, is a solid player, and he was also doing the same, and both were rotating the strike very well. And finally, after getting the early wicket, I thought Alex Hales and Joe Root on this very two-paced pitch really buckled down to the task. They knew that they couldn't have taken a lot of risks, but they decided to take their time. But once they did that, yes, they definitely were a bit lucky as well. Alzari Joseph dropping a catch of Joe Root when Joe Root has just scored 1 run, and that proved extremely costly, as Alex Hales and Joe Root got into their act in a wonderful manner, as they added some big runs. In fact, they added 192 runs for the second wicket, with Alex Hales notching up his 5th ODI century, and Joe Root going on to make his century as well. I thought it was his 7th or 9th. I'm not really, my statistics are not really correct here, but I have to say that in fact Joe Root also went on to make a century. And this partnership was really blossoming in a wonderful manner, with Alex Hales, as you know, he plays the big strokes as well of the spinners. He did a good job, and this particular partnership really put a sort of a good solid block for them. But and then finally it was Alzari Joseph who came for his second spell, who picked up the wicket of Alex Hales, caught by Nurse. For 110 of 107 balls, 9 fours and 5 sixes. And what a way for Alex Hales to actually return to the England team, and look at the trust that the England think tank had on this bloke, Alex Hales. Joe Root, his contribution was 101 of 108 balls. He was also a victim of the bowling of Alzari Joseph. And then we saw Josh Butler trying to play a ram shot, ended up with his stumps being rearranged. He was gone bowled by Holder for 7 of 5 balls with 1 6. Morgan also did the same, but Morgan tried to do it to the spinner Ashley Nurse, and ended up getting clean bowled for 11 of 13 deliveries with 1 6. And then Ben Stokes scored a quick fire 34 of just 20 deliveries, 4 fours and 1 6, becoming a victim of Holder. Moeen Ali was caught and bowled by Joseph for naught. Chris Wokes, and after that there was sort of a collapse, one could say, because after 219, when Hales departed after that very big partnership, all that England could muster was 109 runs, and they lost 9 wickets in the process. So that was a good job done by the West Indies. Wokes was out for 13, Plunkett was run out for 11, Adil Rashid run out for 9, and 328 all out England. And looking at the bowling, Holder's bowling figures were looking respectable. 10 overs, 1 made and 3 for 41. Aljari Joseph took the wickets but leaked runs. 10 overs, leaking 76 runs and taking 4 wickets. Bishu 5 overs was hammered for 44 runs, especially by Alex Hales, who went after him. In fact, Devendra Bishu was carted for 22 runs in a single over, with 2 fours and 2 sixes coming off Alex Hales' bat. Bishu 5 overs, I already said. Carlos Brathwaite 10 overs cost him 56. Ashley Nurse 8 overs was pasted for 57 with 1 wicket. Jonathan Carter went for 28. This was actually because of the way Root and Hales were playing. Jason Holder was forced to actually bring his part-timers. Carter for 4 overs for 28 and Brathwaite 3 overs 1 for 22. Now West Indies were given a target of 329 runs from 50 overs. One knew on this pitch it was always going to be difficult, but the West Indies never got going. The opening start itself was very miserable, as they lost 3 wickets for just 13 runs, with Finn actually getting the wicket of Kieron Powell for 6 of 3 balls with 1 6. Even Lewis was caught and bowled by Chris Wokes for naught. Brathwaite, that is Craig Brathwaite, was also a victim of Wokes, and West Indies had lost 3 wickets for 13 runs. After that, Shai Hope was a victim of the bowling of Plunkett for 16 with 1 for Jason Mahmood, who has done very well in the 2 ODI matches where he picked up 2 50s. This time could not really continue, as Plunkett actually rearranged his furniture. He was gone. Jonathan Carter was the only one who held up the England bowling here. But again, Jason Holder has been a big question mark, the captain of the West Indies cricket team, who has unfortunately he has not contributed to the bat. So that has been a big miss for the West Indies. And once again, Jason Holder was out for a blob to the bowling of Plunkett. This was a good battle. For the first time, as you would remember, one was waiting for this battle to happen between Ben Stokes and Brathwaite. And since the last time when actually Brathwaite hit those 4 roaring sixes to give West Indies the T20 World Cup against Ben Stokes, as you would remember, but one was waiting for this battle to happen, and I would say a sort of a psychological victory here for Ben Stokes, as his very, very first delivery that he bowled in this ODI series. The first time we saw Stokes bowling to Brathwaite after that hammering that he received in the T20 World Cup, and Brathwaite was a goner, as Brathwaite actually got a ball which actually kept low from Ben Stokes and went on to wrap him on the pads. Brathwaite reviewed the decision, but finally the decision going in favour of Stokes. Brathwaite had to go. LBW bowled Stokes for 7. Ashley Nurse was a victim for 6. Bishu was out for 10. And as I said, Jonathan Carter was the only one who was fighting it out at the centre. But all that he could muster was 46 with 8 boundaries out to the bowling of Finn. And as I said, the West Indies were absolutely no match today, as their innings came to a close on 142. They were all out for 142, not even playing their full 50 overs, and a huge win for England by 186 runs, and also a 3-0 clean sweep of the series, and also dimming West Indies' chances, or probably hurting West Indies' chances of the automatic qualification. But there's still a long way to go. The cutoff is September, so still they have time as far as that is concerned. As far as the bowling is concerned, Stephen Finn bowled magnificently. 10 overs, 1 minute, 2 for 35. Wokes, who was not only he got 8 overs, 1 minute, 3 for 16. He also got the Player of the Series award. Was truly deserved. Ben Stokes 7 overs, 2 maidens, 1 for 27. Liam Plunkett 3 for 27, 1 for 5 for Adil Rashid, and the man of the match went to Alex Hales. So now, with time being at a real constraint here, I have to rush to the match between New Zealand and South Africa. As I said, Kane Williamson is doing a fine job for his team. So I'm just going to give you a brief as to what happened. So yesterday, as you know, South Africa, which I think I've already covered about that, they were all out for 308. And New Zealand, Latham made 10. Jeet Rawal really showed some nice, I would say, nice stroke making by making 52 with 6 boundaries. Ross Taylor retired hurt, so that is a big problem for New Zealand, unfortunately. And Henry Nicholls was consumed the bowling of Keshav Maharaj for 12. Jeetan Patel, who came in as night watchman, is out for 16. Nisham could contribute only 7, but they definitely at 193 for 5. It looked like even Stevens, but definitely I think this is New Zealand who have actually pulled the plug out of the pulled the plug here, because what they did is with Kane Williamson and Watling adding some valuable runs. They've already added, I reckon it is almost coming to 100 partnership now, probably 80 odd runs that they've added, which is an unbroken one, which is going strong. Kane Williamson is looking in his element. He's not out on 130 with 18 fours, and he would be the key for New Zealand to take a handy lead here against South Africa. BJ Watling is also doing a fine job, 31 with 6 fours, and you know BJ Watling, if he sticks to the crease, is very difficult to dislodge, and he can play a long innings as well. But now, right now, as I'm leaving you, dear fans and subscribers, with the news from the second session in the third day's play here at the University Oval in Dunedin, that New Zealand are 277 for 5 in reply to South Africa's 308 all out, and Kane Williamson is really doing a fine job here. Thanks for your company, and thanks for watching Cricket Happenings, dear friends and subscribers. Your host Ram will be with you tomorrow to recount the experiences in these particular matches. Till such time that happens, it's good night.